Welcome to the Effortless English Show with the world's #1 English teacher, AJ Hoge, where AJ's more than 40 million students worldwide finally learn English once and for all, without the boring textbooks, classrooms, and grammar drills. Here's AJ with a quick piece to help you learn to speak fluent English effortlessly.
I'm AJ Hoge, author of Effortless English. Learn to speak English like a native. Join my VIP program, effortlessenglishclub.com. Go to effortlessenglishclub.com. That's my website. That's where you can and will find my VIP program. We're having a VIP meeting soon, so it's a good time to join and sign up. Okay, today I'm interviewing Thiago Hatada, who is my Jiu Jitsu instructor. He's the head instructor at Ultimate Jiu Jitsu Club in Osaka, Japan. And we're going to talk today about developing difficult skills, right? Such as language. He also speaks 3 languages. He speaks he speaks Portuguese as his native language. He speaks English fluently. He speaks Japanese fluently. So he knows about that as well. So he's going to share his ideas about, like how do we master difficult skills, such as, English is tough. There's so many words, so much grammar. How do you deal with all of that and get better? And jiu-jitsu is the same. There's so many techniques. There's so much to learn. So I'm going to call him now on Skype. Let's hope Skype is working. I'm going to try it. Let's see if we can get Skype working, and we'll talk to Thiago. Oh, hello. Oh, there you are. Hey, good to see you.
Okay.
All right. So yeah, I'm gonna have to do the second way of doing this because I don't know. The software's not working well.
Okay.
Let me just see if I can. There we go. Oh yeah, there you go. So this works. Okay, this works fine. Okay, so hey, hello, Thiago. I just introduced you. So yeah, I was just saying we're gonna talk about like you're kind of a system for understanding and learning difficult skills. So obviously you're the
I think it is a kind of a system to learn new things, because the new things is easier to forget. So a kind of, if you use this like a ABC system, I think it's very very easy to keep in learning.
And obviously you're the jiu-jitsu instructor, and there's so much to learn in jiu-jitsu. It's like it can feel very overwhelming, and this is where I first learned about this, because I was talking to you about this, and you explained how you kind of like you put different skills or things into these categories, like A category, B category, C category.
Yeah, the kind of I use for everything, but in jiu-jitsu is very useful, because in jiu-jitsu you have a lot of techniques and new techniques, and for me, like an instructor, I should be every time getting something new, because if I stop to learn, my students stop to learn too. So the kind of I need to learn new things to pass to the students, but learn new things is hard, because maybe you will see something today, but tomorrow you forget. So
yeah, this is, and I know my students have the same problem with like vocabulary. It's like they learn a new word and then the next day they forget. And I have the same thing in jiu-jitsu. It's like like I'll learn an escape, and then the next day I'm fighting, I'm sparring, and I'm in the position, and I'm like, what do I forgot what to do. I can't remember it.
Yeah, I think that everyone have this problem. So yeah, I like I said I watched this systems, because the system was a Brazilian guy that created. The name is Alberto, and I watched this, and he usually teaches to how to pass in the test to go to university. So yeah, so I watching this, and okay, this is very useful, but I don't want to pass in the to go to university. So I want to use it for the things that I do. So for example, learn English and Japanese is very useful,
Yeah.
and Jiu Jitsu. So I apply and these three things, and it's very, yeah. I improve it a lot using this.
And so can you kind of explain like, so, what do these categories mean? So like you have like, category A and B and C. And when you're, so, how does that work? How do you kind of use that
It's
to
a kind of,
organize?
you should be tracking the things that you do, because if you don't track it, you cannot improve. So you track it and put in some categories. For example, the way that I saw in the video was A, B, C, but I put a little bit more a kind of in the D, like I said before, and for Jiu-Jitsu I put a plus A. So a kind of I divide in 5 categories.
I see.
Yeah. So for example, the D is the things that you don't know that you don't know.
Oh.
So the things that you you're not aware. For example, in Jiu-Jitsu is some techniques that you don't know that exist. Someone and somewhere create a new technique, but you don't know this guy. You didn't see this technique, so you don't know that this technique exists. So this is a D category. Or if you put in English, some word that you don't know, you didn't see or didn't hear about it. So this is a D category. So you don't know that you don't know.
Yeah, right. Never heard about it. You have no idea.
Yeah.
That's category D. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, for me. And the C category and the things that you know that you don't know. So you know that you know that you don't know to do how, for example, the technique. So, for example, on the armbar. So for the white belts, the first class. So I show the technique, so the students see the technique, but now he know that this technique, but he didn't did it yet. So they know that they don't know.
Right. So kind of aware.
Yeah.
Right.
Aware.
Like you're aware, but you can't actually do it.
All right. Or maybe you watching something in English or a movie or read something, and you pair with the word that you see this word, but you don't know the meaning. But you know that this word exists. They have a meaning, but you don't know this meaning.
I see.
So this is a C category. And the B category is the techniques that you know that you don't know, and you start to work in it to know the meaning or to learn something. So for example, in Jiu-Jitsu, the techniques that, yes, I know that I don't know to do armbar. So I start to learn. So I start to train to do the armbar. So I start to put in action, put some action in this technique. So I start to learn. I start to practice. I start to know where I should put the grips. So this is the B, but the B category is not the best one, because the B you know and you start to work on it. But for example, in Jiu-Jitsu have the sparring. So I practicing the technique, but when I put in the sparring, I cannot do it because the guy defend, the guy try to do it to avoid the technique. So it's the B category. In the sparring, this doesn't work, but I start working on it. So for example, if the guy doesn't defend, I can do it.
Right.
But yeah. So you start to put some action to learn or to develop the thing. And the A category is a kind of, in Jiu-Jitsu, you practice a lot the technique, and you start to put on the sparring. So you do in the sparring and you success you in the sparring. So this is A technique. So you know how to do, and when you put in practice, you can do. If your opponent defend, you can do. Mm-hmm. So having so many ways to avoid the defense of your opponent, and you do the technique. Yes, but the A category that I classify. I can do the sparring, but I can do the sparring with the guy is the same level to maybe lower level than me.
Right.
So, not the same, but a lower level than me. So, for example, if I'm black belt, if I do on the brown belt or purple belt or blue belt or white belt. So I can do the sparring, but the guy is technically like lower.
Yeah. I see. Yes.
And the skills is lower than me, so I can practice on him, and I success in the sparring. And plus A that I put in the category is the kind of I do the technique with the guy when the guy is the same level than me or higher than me. Black belt, same kid is very at the top. So the guy is higher. In the skills is higher than me, so the level. So, but I train this technique a lot, and when I spar with them, I can do the technique.
Yeah, that's fun. You know, that's so. It's so like you said. You can use this for anything, because that would be like, you know, like you said. So like a D category would be like, if you're just talking about like vocabulary for English, it'd be never seen the word, you have no idea. You hear it and you're like, what's that? And then like C is you've seen it, but you're not quite sure what it means. B, maybe you know the meaning, but you can't use it.
Yeah.
Right? Like you kind of know if you see it, you can kind of, oh yeah, I kind of remember that, but that's very common. A, you can use it in a normal conversation. And like, I think for English, A plus would be like a stressful situation like public speaking or job interview.
Yes.
Where now it's like extra pressure and people kind of forget a lot of stuff when with the pressure, right?
Yeah. I think exactly. Maybe if you do this approach in English, I think you're right. Because for me, for example, now I'm using the A plus words.
Yeah, you're doing great. So I've already people in the comments said your pronunciation is very clear.
Oh, thank you.
Yeah.
Because usually I don't do this in English because my language the first one is Portuguese. So if I do it in Portuguese, it's a little bit hard, but in English, is A plus.
Well, yeah, it's like you know, because that A plus, like you said, is like in Jiu Jitsu is like you're competing against someone, you know, same or higher level, like a tournament or something, right?
Yes.
Like it's a very intense situation, and it's the same in, you know, so even you're like, maybe you know armbar very well, but to do it against like another guy who's like a champion is not so easy. But it's also like with language, you know, native speakers, people who speak very well, but if you put them in front of 100 people, like they suddenly, like they can't talk, you know, they're so nervous and all the emotion, and like even though they're native speakers, you know, they're Americans, but they struggle, they forget what their topic. So it really changes that kind of pressure. And of course, jiu-jitsu, everything you're saying is very familiar. Yeah.
So how to make this put all the words for in English to AO.
Yeah, like how do you? There's so many. Like in jiu-jitsu, this is what helped me with jiu-jitsu when you talked to me about this, because I know it's common, it's not just me, that, you know, I'm just blue belt level, so it's still kind of a beginner belt, and in fact, I really feel like blue belt, like at white belt, it's kind of clear, like, oh, here are the 30-something techniques you need to know. So it's oh, okay, I can manage that, right? I can put it on my wall, and then suddenly a blue belt, it's like, bah! You know, it's like, there's 10,000 of them. Which ones? And I'm like, So it's just like, which ones do I get, and like how do I manage this? And then, you know, you're kind of saying like, so it's almost like a ladder, right? Climbing, right? So maybe you don't just learn something and then it's A plus immediately. Like it's So like, okay, like an arm bar, you learn it, and now it's just C. Oh, I kind of get the idea of an arm bar. Then I start to practice it in the class, and I can do it slowly.
Yeah.
Then I can get a white belt with it sometimes, right? Now it's getting, and then finally do it against a purple belt or another blue belt.
And then sometimes the people think that if you do like if you put, for example, get to some words or some techniques and practice a lot, you're gonna learn slowly because you put a lot of like energy in little things. But if you think a long term, this becomes like faster because I have a lot of students that every time learn something new. But when you learn something new, you're excited, you train, and the next day they don't know how to do because just forget.
Yeah.
I think with the video that I watch, or maybe the other place that I don't have but I see that the when you learn something new, and the next day you forgot maybe 60%.
Yeah, right.
Yeah. So, for example, if you just learn new things, you learn, but the next day you forgot 60%. So the way that you keeping this in your mind to don't let it go away is just doing a review. So
right. It's that repetition. It's going back again.
Yes. But a repetition, you should to focus on one thing because like a review. So you, for example, you take some words and you study these words or this vocabulary until you get it like an A. And when you get an A in this vocabulary, you switch for the other one and the A. So
interesting.
Yeah. So the A plus is a little bit hard to forget because you use. So for example, in Jiu Jitsu, if you use the techniques in the sparring, it's a kind of a review.
Right.
Yeah. Because you're doing so. But I have some techniques that you cannot use in the sparring. These are kind of the B technique. So the B technique you study, you put a lot of time to learn this, but you don't use in this sparring. So this just go away from your brain, yeah.
And then it drops down again like into C, right?
C category, yes. And maybe if you pass like years, becomes a D. So I never seen this technique before.
You forgot it totally. Yeah. Right. So this is the problem of just like trying to get new all the time.
Yeah.
So you just get like a huge amount of like C level, right? You're kind of aware of stuff, but you never really master anything, right? You never become really good at it.
Because if, like you said, if you master these things or the vocabulary or the techniques, you put in the category A, and it is hard to forget. And if you just keep in the B, become a C, and the C become like a D maybe. So the problem is that the people becomes like a circle like this. And for example, take the C category and put in the B, and the B they don't do the review or don't keep in practicing. So the B becomes a C again. So they take the C and put in a B, and it's the B technique becomes a C. Yes. So become like a.
Yes. It's very frustrating then.
Yeah, and the words or the techniques that are useful that you practicing is the A, but the A is very like a little bit A.
Yeah.
And a lot of B and a lot of C. So if you keep in review until it becomes a A, is I think the right way.
Yes. That's a good point. Is that if you do. So if you don't practice enough, if you don't get enough review, enough repetition, it's like it just never goes higher. Like you learn it, maybe it goes up to like that B level where you're kind of know it, but then you go do something else, it drops back to C again.
Yeah.
If you wait too long,
then
maybe you get it back to B again, and then it drops to C, and it never gets up to A. You can never really use it.
So you spend a lot of time to make it a C and a B, and you never use because the B is unuseful in the sparring because you didn't master it like a good way to use.
Yes.
So
Yes.
you
Yes.
should to keep in the B technique, keep in master, keep in doing, until become an A technique.
You know, and I think it's so because this helped me a lot, right? So it made me realize, okay, I'm just gonna stick with, like, I'm gonna focus on, like, you know, I've been like focusing on defending and surviving, and so I just, I'm just gonna do this because I like for months, and I think people like it. Maybe they get bored. They want something new all the time, right?
Yeah,
Because I tell my students the same thing, like, you know, listen to an audio, listen to a video, like many times, not just one time and then jump to the next, excuse me, jump to the next, the next. Go back, listen to it again. The next day, listen to it again. You know, read it. Try, you know, keep doing that, like, again and again and again. And then it really, like, I've noticed a difference by focusing on the defense that, like, oh, now I really can feel it changing and jumping up into that A category now. Some things.
Yeah, you don't need to stop to learn new things or new techniques, but you should to just to like take a balance.
Yeah.
So you learn new techniques, but the new techniques that you learn, you should to keep in practice. So, for example, if you learn 10 new techniques, I think you don't have a lot of time to review all the 10 techniques.
Right.
So you should to keep in reviewing, doing the review. So you choose a number of techniques that is possible for you. So everybody is a kind of schedule is different. So some guys have all the days to training, and some guys maybe train twice a week, once a week. So it's different the balance you should to take.
That's exactly what I was going to ask you next. Is that and I think it's for language and jiu-jitsu both. It's kind of time management, because as you said, so there's some people train jiu-jitsu 2 times a day, right?
Yeah.
Every day. And then and like I do 3 times a week. Some people do twice a week. So it's kind of like, yeah, like you can't get everything into the A category. Like, and it's the same with words in English, you know. If you got an hour a day, you can't learn 100 words a day, right? So so like, how do you, so you just kind of, like, say if maybe you see 20 new words, or in jiu-jitsu you learn 10 new techniques or something. So you're saying just pick like a few, like, that you think that you want to learn.
Yeah. For example, I plan to fight a tournament in April.
Yeah.
So I choose maybe 5 techniques that I want to use in this tournament. So what I do, I take some videos from YouTube. So the top guys, the top black belts doing this technique. So I just save in my library. So I watch. So when I watch the guy doing is a kind of review.
Right.
Yes. And when I train, I have it's a kind of light sparring. So, and then when I do the light sparring, I do the techniques. So this 5, I do these 5 techniques.
Yes.
Sometimes work, sometimes doesn't work. But I try to do kind of every time that I train, maybe once or 2 times. For example, if I train 30 minutes, sparring 30 minutes, I don't need to do the 30 minutes all the techniques. But maybe I try, okay, now 1 minute, I have 1 minute. In this 1 minute, I want to do this technique.
Right.
So I set up in my mind. Sometimes I can do, sometimes the guy do the things that doesn't work. Like for example, I want to be on top to do this technique, and the guy get on top first, so I cannot get on top. So sometimes it doesn't work.
Right.
Or sometimes I want to be on the bottom, but the guy pull guard first and be like that. And sometimes you can manage in the sweep, or you can pull the guy to the bottom again, but sometimes it doesn't work. But it's no problem. And then the second time, then the next sparring, I try to do it. So I choose some techniques that I want to do all the time that I train. Yeah. In the light sparring, because like I said, for me, light sparring is easy because I have a lot of students, and the students a little bit more lower belt than me.
Yeah.
And I can manage this thing.
That's a good point too. Let me just interrupt real quick. That so when you're first trying to kind of master something like new techniques, or it could be like new words, you want to use them. You start by doing it in basically like a low stress
low
situation
stress,
you're using against guys who are not as good as you, your students. So it's not, you don't try it the first time. I'm going to go to the tournament and try my 5 new techniques for the first time.
And it's very interesting because for example, the guys is slower than me, maybe white belts, maybe blue belts, and sometimes he do the white way to defend like naturally.
Oh, I see. Yes, like just like an instinct or something. Yeah.
Instinct. Yeah. It's good because it's good to train with the low belts that they don't know the way to defend, because the people do different things. And
so you see different reactions, more reactions.
Yeah, different reactions, and I can learn with this reaction because a tall guy does something, a small guy does something, a big guy does something. Then this things everything is different, and in every reaction, I can like change my grip or change something.
I see.
Yeah. And the tournament is kind of different because the guy maybe know the way to defend, and maybe the way that they defend, maybe white belt didn't on me. Like they didn't know the right way, but like instinctively they push the leg or do something. Yeah. So it's not new. It's not new to me. For example, I passed this this way one time, so the guy did this, so I have like when the guy did this, I can do this. And sometimes it works, sometimes doesn't work.
It's kind of like that. I kind of think like sometimes I'll call it wide learning and deep learning, like the balance. So like you're talking about like you've chosen 5 techniques you want to focus on for the next tournament, and that's kind of a deep learning because you're trying to go like very deep. You're trying to lots of repetition and practice it every sparring session and find all the little small details and really learn it, master it. And then and then other times wide learning, you're like learning lots and lots and lots of stuff, but it's not A level. It's more like C and B. But it's kind of like you almost have to do both, right? You have to do some wide, and then and then you choose some of those and say, okay, these I'm gonna go deep with.
Yes, I think it is like so you said the right way. Why? Because you should do like a wide, like I said, because you should to choose something that you can do, because have a lot of things. A lot of things. Then there's some things is kind of hard to do because like in Jiu Jitsu, your body type. So have some techniques that the flexible guys is very easy to do, but I'm not flexible. So if I want to do the same technique that they do, I need to become a flexible guy to do.
Yeah.
But maybe this is impossible or not. But it's a kind of it's different. Or sometimes the guy is very big, so use the weight like smash the guy.
Yeah.
But I'm lighter, so I don't have the weight to put on the guys. So have some techniques that you should to maybe learn a little bit, but it's not compact. Like I said, it's hard to you when your body type to do the same.
Yeah, so when you're doing that kind of wide, you're kind of like just trying things, right, and experimenting. Yeah. Like you said, like, I'll try the smashing. I'm not very big; it's not working very well. But this other thing seems kind of fits me better.
Yeah.
So you find those things, and then you go deeper with those.
Yeah, for example, in Jiu Jitsu, I think it is not in Jiu Jitsu for everything. You have strengths. You have weakness.
Yeah.
And what happened with the people? They maybe don't know the strengths and don't know the weakness.
Yeah, right.
So,
right.
So you should be aware. So what are you good? What are you not good? And when the people know what they good and what is not good, so like a weakness, they start to put energy in the weakness. to take the balance.
Yes.
But when you go to the tournament, the media level is nothing. So your weakness, you should be aware of your weakness, but you should put your energy in your strength.
Right. Because it's hard because like we see our weakness, and a lot of times there like people will just focus on like, oh, I gotta fix my weakness.
Yeah.
Right, like
you should to fix or not fix, but you should to manage your weakness. So yeah, I kind of for example, my weakness, for example, in Jiu Jitsu, I don't know how to escape from the mount position. This is my weakness. This is very important. So you should to manage it to escape it for maybe 1, 2, 3 techniques, but you don't need to maybe 100 techniques to escape from the mount.
I see, right.
Yeah. So you should to be able to escape. But for example, my strength is a kind of close guard. So I should put a lot of techniques in the close guard. So when I am in the close guard, I'm able to submit or win the fight when the close guard.
I see.
So what happened in the tournament, I try to put the guy in my strength. So
I see.
Close guard.
Yes.
And I don't need to use the mount escape.
Right.
Because I put forth my strong part, my strength. So if I put there, I submit the guy. I don't need to use the mount escape. But everything doesn't work as well. So maybe the guy pass and mount on you, and you need to manage your weakness to take it for not losing in this. But you don't need to be the best man that everybody goes in the mountain and you escape.
Right, I see. So you're kind of so again kind of like that A plus. You're really going deep and getting a lot of let's say time focused on your strong points. Yeah. And then your weak points, they need to be like good enough, but they don't have to be super.
Yeah.
Right.
For example, in this case, in the mount position, I have maybe 4 techniques in the mount position. In the mount position that it's A plus.
Yeah.
I use in I have 4 techniques. But in the close guard, maybe I have 15 techniques that I can use.
I see. So in the close guard, which if people don't know about jiu-jitsu, it's a kind of defense. Well, I don't know. It's a position, defense and attack. So that's that's gonna be very strong. So you then want to be into that position because now this is where you're really, really good.
Yeah. Because and this is in case in the tournament, because when we do the practice, it's different. So when you're in the class, my goal is to learn more techniques, put more A categories. So for example, in the mount position, I have these 4 or 5 techniques that I use. I want to put one more so in the practice, in the training, the lesson, the mindset is different. But when I go to the tournament, all to put on my strength. So I want to get in the close guard, and I have a lot of stuff to do there. And if I can put there, maybe I can win the fight.
Interesting. I think that's also similar, like with language and with English learning, that it's kind of like different subjects or topics, right? Because it's the same thing. Like you can't. Very, very hard for someone to know all the vocabulary and be really, really good talking about science and politics and economics and business and casual hobbies and so you're going to focus on your interests. So maybe you a lot about movies, right? And you talk really well about movies, but if people start talking about, I don't know, economics, then maybe it's going to be weaker, and so you're going to focus on your main what you know well.
Of course, if you know a lot of categories like this, the economics, and if you have a lot of A's in this category, this is good. But have one category, like one thing that you like and you use more. So if you put more A's in this position, in this case, you can speak more fluently. For me in Jiu-Jitsu. So if you're talking about Jiu-Jitsu, I know the vocabulary of Jiu-Jitsu. So for me, it's easier to talk about, like a mount position, side position, like easier. There's have some guys that they don't know the terminology of the Jiu-Jitsu.
Right.
So if they talk about Jiu-Jitsu, it's a little bit hard. But for me, it's easier because I'm doing this every day. And for example, if you're talking about economy, it's a kind of
yeah, it's a whole different words and vocab, and yeah,
it's hard to me. But maybe this guy is very talk a lot about this, and for them it's easier. So the Jiu-Jitsu is the same thing.
And a lot of it's, like you said, it's kind of like time management too. And that's the next thing I wanted to ask you, because it depends on like what level, like how long you've been doing it. Right. So like I'm born speaking English. So, right, I can talk about a huge number of topics because, I've got 50 years of English. So, but someone who's just learning English 3 years, right? There's no way they can do that. And then the second issue is just like we already talked about, how much time do you have like each day? Like some people can focus on English or Jiu-Jitsu like all day. It's just, there are people who are basically Jiu-Jitsu is just their life. It's your job. And then other people are it's just a hobby and they can do it a few hours a week. So like for like someone at the lower level, like what do you suggest for like okay, let's say my like blue belt, white belt to get like where they're decent, like they can spar, for example, they can perform decently. Like how much time should be deep and how much should be wide? And
now in the school that now we have a program.
Yes.
So for example, the guy that coming today to learn. So he do the first class. So they know one technique, two techniques, maybe three techniques, and he wants to keep and learn. So he have 36 techniques.
Yes.
So in Jiu-Jitsu have more than 700, like a lot. You cannot count it. Yes.
So that beginner level, the white belt, really limiting. Like you're saying, it's focus on this.
Who created this wasn't not me. Was the Gracie family. So the Gracie family did a lot of like challenge before. So they take this challenge, they tracking it and put the techniques that it was useful.
The most useful.
Most useful techniques in kind of self-defense.
Yes.
So they put this and create the program. So in my school have the same program. So the students should to learn these 36 techniques. So you don't need to learn another thing yet. But if you want to improve fast, you have these 36 techniques to learn. And you put your time this. So some have a guys that come every day. So 6 times a week. So they put more energy there and they will learn faster.
Yeah.
But I have guys that come once a week.
Right.
So they put the time there. A little bit slower than the other one, but if they focus on the 36, no problem. They keep in. They have like online too, so you can watch and the techniques, and you can put this like for me, if you come twice a week is a good. Try 3 times a week is a good.
Yeah.
So maybe you go 3 times a week. You do the techniques. And the other days that you don't go, maybe you just watch maybe 5 minutes, like a review to don't forget it.
Right.
So you don't need to do 1 hour class. Maybe you do 5 minutes and your cell phone, you just watch
a video.
And so review. And the guy learned these 36 techniques, so you become like a higher belt. So when I become from the blue belt, what I think for them, we have a advanced program. So the advanced program have like 700 700 techniques.
Yeah, right. It's a big jump. Yeah.
So the 36 become a 700. So, but if you learn the 700 is hard.
Yeah.
So, for example, the blue belt until blue belt 2 stripes.
Yes.
So the people that they don't know Jiu-Jitsu, we have a white belt. The next is a blue belt. So the blue belt to get the purple belt, this is the next, the blue, have 4 stripes. So get 1, 2, 3, 4, and the next change the color. So the blue belt, when they until 2 stripes, I put the techniques that you should to learn, like you're doing now, the BBS 1.
Yes.
So
yes.
BBS 1, the Grace made this program too. So until blue belt 2 stripe, you're focused in BBS 1. You don't need to know the 700 techniques.
Right.
You can learn, you can pick it up some techniques that you like, but your focus is this one. And you master this until become A in a lot of the techniques.
Right.
When you master it, we go to blue belt 2 stripe until purple belt. So becomes a BBS 2. And the BBS 2, I'm gonna teach it for you too. So you put the BBS 2, and from then we have the BBS 3 and BBS 4. So when you get master this one, you pass to the other ones, and you already know the previous techniques.
Yes.
So you just put in some A techniques in your
yes.
And then you learn all the 700 techniques. You can pick up some other techniques that don't have in the program.
Right.
And I have another, and from this one here, I have a lot of techniques that you can pick up too.
So that's really great. So it's really kind of so at the very beginner level, very limiting, like focusing on the most useful, useful. I think that's the best way to say it. Right.
Yeah, most useful. Yeah, because for example, for me, when I started Jiu-Jitsu, was watching like MMA fights, like here in Japan. We live here in Japan. It was Pride.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, the Pride. So I watched that, and I want to learn these techniques.
Yeah.
Yeah. So here in the white belt program is a kind of the same techniques that the guys use in them, because the Grace pick up all the useful techniques for self-defense and put there. So if you learn this, you can defend yourself from someone bigger than you.
Yeah.
So, for example, if you learn everything that they have in the white belt, you can protect yourself against the guy that doesn't know Jiu-Jitsu.
Right.
Yeah. And when you master these techniques, you're ready to defend yourself with a guy that knows technique, that knows Jiu-Jitsu.
Right. Exactly. Yes. See ya.
Yeah, because when you start to training in the advanced class, it's a kind of funny, because we learn a lot of techniques, and you try to apply in your friend, but your friend knows the same techniques, so they start to know the defense. So he defends, so you should know the next step. So a kind of
yeah, there's always like a race. Yeah. I think that helps so much, because people get overwhelmed in the beginnings, right? Because like I say, like let's say in English you'll see all these different numbers, but let's say 10,000 words to be, like really, really fluent. So someone's starting and they're like, 10,000 words. But like you said, you just need so you just limit it down, because there are other studies that show you only need 1,000 to 2,000 for most common conversations. And like in Jiu-Jitsu, like you said, it's like I thought we kind of like jump ahead, like we want to be world champions in 1 year, right? Instead
yeah,
of just like, well, what's the first thing? Oh, defend myself against someone who doesn't know jujitsu, which is most people don't know jujitsu.
yes.
So that's very, very useful. And
Yeah,
it's
yeah,
much easier than
yeah.
fighting jujitsu black belts in a tournament.
Yeah, it's much easier is you gotta motivate because it's not like kind of a big step. It's a small step.
Right. Breaking
Yeah,
it into small,
yeah, it's
manageable.
small step. Yeah. So when you get here, you your feelings are kind of, oh, I won because I got this. So
Yes.
you're ready to the next step.
Right.
Yeah. And you master this, you get the next step. So you get like a purple belt. So you ready for the next step until black belt. But if you're the guy, maybe they get the trial class today, and okay, next week I become a black belt. So how many techniques you should to learn in 1 week?
Right, right, right.
Yeah,
I think this is one of the
say
great
because
things
it's too
about
much.
jujitsu. I think that belt system helps because it kind of, like you said, it breaks it into smaller pieces, and each time you go up, you feel like, I did, I've had this nice success, and
Yeah,
I've made this improvement instead of like with a lot of things, like let's say guitar or languages, or there's many things where like it's not really clear. Like you just start and like I want to learn the guitar. I want to, and it's like that's a huge jump, and it's so it's easy to feel like discouraged. And I'm speaking from
yeah.
experience because I tried to learn guitar and I quit.
Me too. Me too.
And I was just like, oh, I'm never gonna get there. But I should have broken it into pieces. Like started with like, okay, here's some very easy songs.
Yeah.
This is like blue belt. I want to get to the blue belt in guitar, and then I
Yeah,
want to
yeah,
get to purple
yeah.
belt. Instead, I'm just looking at black belt, like the best, and I'm
Yeah,
just
I
like,
think everything you have a method,
yeah,
it's easier to learn, and it's easier fun to learn because you know the way, you know the things you should to do to become something or to achieve something.
yeah, yeah, yeah,
Yeah. So when you know the steps in the beginning, you can choose if you want to like pay for it. So
yeah.
you like you spend time, you spend the money to become the things because you know the way, you know the
Yes.
trail that you should to. So in the beginning, you can choose. Okay, I want to become a black belt in jiu-jitsu. So I should to spend many years doing jiu-jitsu,
Yes.
maybe 3 times a week, 2 times a week. So I should to. So when you have this trail, you just choose. But no, I don't have this a lot of time to do this. I don't like pass a lot of years doing this to
Yeah.
become a black belt. So maybe you can do tennis or something else.
Right. Yeah.
But sometimes you don't have the method,
Yes.
and yeah, what you think that you can do faster, but you think because you don't know the problems that become they happen in the middle of the. So when you have a method, it's very easy to learn in English. So it is your student have your method, so they know what they should to do, how many times they should to do, what kind of they should to learn, to study. So this is if you, for example, for me, I pick up to learn English. I take a book and I just did the book in the beginning.
Mm-hmm.
And I didn't know that time, but I kind of I become the book. I become my A because I study a lot this
Oh,
book.
I see. You just kept repeating and reviewing it
Yeah,
and reviewing it and
repeating.
reviewing. Ah, yeah.
And for example, for me, I didn't have time to study because I was working the factory and I was training at night. So my day is my job and the night was my training.
Mm.
So to put the English to me was a little bit hard to put in the night because I was doing jiu-jitsu.
Yeah.
So what I did, I take my lunch time to learn English.
Wow.
So on that time I had maybe 4 to 5 minutes of lunchtime in the factory, and I used maybe 30 minutes, 15 minutes to eat, and 30 minutes to study.
Wow, fantastic.
So I get every day that I go to the job, I have a lunchtime. So I use this time to study English, and every day I review, because I just a little time, just 30 minutes. So I review the things that I did the last week, and start to do new things in the book.
And what kind of book were you using? Which book, do you remember?
I don't remember the name. I just take it because at that time I downloaded in my computer and put in there, in the paper, and start to write. But I don't know which one was. But it was very useful. It was useful because it was English in I learned English in English. So I need to read the questions and read the instructions in English and do.
I see. It was all English, so there's not translations.
Yeah, not translation. Yes.
Oh, I see.
So it was good for me because in that case, my level in English maybe white belt, the lower possible. So I didn't. So I started to learn the introduction, and I didn't know what to do. So I started to take a dictionary and searching.
Yeah.
And so the next question is almost similar. So I get the last and the bring here. Okay, it's almost the same. So I started to learn, and it helped a lot. So yeah, I started for 30 minutes a day. So it's not a long time. So I see sometimes the guys study 3 hours. And yeah, if you have a time, it's good. But it's better if you put every day to review.
Yes,
because
yes.
I saw the things you forgot 60% that you learned. So if you put 3 hours you learn 3 hours, and you don't do the review, the next day these 3 hours become like 40%. So
right. Right. So that's what it really does show how important it is then to each day, like you said, each day do a little bit and review. So you don't lose over half of what you did yesterday.
Yeah, so if you do 30 minutes and I do the review, maybe I lost maybe 80%, but 80%, no, 20%, but it still remain 80%.
Yes.
That I study. So the lose is little.
Right.
Compare if you study a lot and open a lot of time to do again. Yeah.
So it really shows that importance of kind of even if it's a little bit more consistent.
Yeah. So I start to apply this on my daily life in Jiu Jitsu because for example, I study the new techniques, but I review every day to don't forget it.
Yes. I see. Yes. And I've noticed that too, because I used to do 2 days a week, and then I went to 3, and it helped. And then other days I try to watch a video or something, like you said.
Yeah.
And it like you said, it's just you forget less. It doesn't take a lot. You just, even if it's some days like you'd mentioned, 5, 10, 15 minutes is better than nothing. Much better. Much better.
Yeah. Because the mind is your brain erase everything that you don't use, so you should keep in using. So this is the review. So if you keep in using your brain means that this is useful because they use it every day.
Right.
Thing. I don't wanna erase this thing, but this one here, they use 1 week ago. I don't need this, and they're erase everything to study.
This is one of the great things about, internet and video that we have now. For everything, jiu-jitsu and language, everything, that it's so easy to do that now, right?
Yes.
if you're learning a language, you can just get an audio and you can listen, or a video and listen again and again and again. You don't need to always talk to somebody who's native speaker.
For me, I speak English when I'm in the class and when I'm doing the class, and I have some friends, but I don't speak it like every day with them. But I review English every day in my house because the TV and the movies that I learn, or the videos, is English. So I hear English every day. So for me it's very easier to review the things.
Yeah, it's great. And jiu-jitsu, like I know, like a lot of the guys at at Ultimate, because they're always like couple of guys, they're always like after the class, like they take out their phones and they're watching a video and they're practicing the moves, and, and I do it too. I go to YouTube if I have a problem or something. I go to YouTube. How do I deal with this? And it's like, like I don't know, it's really so useful, right? That because it just that it makes it easy to do a little bit of review and a little bit each day when you can.
And the same time, this is easier. It's hard because, for example, it's easier, for example, for us that know like this technique, the system, and have a lot of things to pick up and put some focus on it. But I have some people that don't know it and have a lot of things, so they don't know which you want to take. This is hard.
That's the danger, right?
Yeah, because like, for example, when I start to learn English, maybe it was a little bit content in YouTube. I kind of was maybe how many years ago, I don't know, but I was 23, 20. Well, I don't know. Maybe 15 years ago, maybe. Oh man, or 10 years ago. But when I searched, there's not a lot of information about English. So I pick up some ones in the YouTube and the folks in the book because I was in the factory, I couldn't access the YouTube at that time.
Right.
And I focus on the book. But now you have a lot of access in a lot of things. And if you don't choose the right things to put the focus, you put energy in a lot of things and spend a lot of energy. You be tired and don't learn nothing because.
Yeah, that's like you said, the kind of the danger of especially people who aren't, like, let's say already like black belt level or advanced, because right, without a clear system, then you just get overwhelmed and it's just kind of random. Right, like in jiu-jitsu, like learn this technique, and then this one, and then this one, and it's just and then you don't really have like you're like jiu-jitsu is very have all these big holes, kind of, right, like all these huge weak points, and you don't know how to connect them together, and it's overwhelming.
For me it's easier because what happened, I need to teach, and every time that I teach is a review for me.
All right.
So I'm helping the people to understand, to learn the jiu-jitsu, but for me it's the same way good because I'm reviewing the technique that I did before. So every time that I teach, I review. So for example, have days that I have 6-7 classes a day.
Wow.
So so have a lot of students. So sometimes it's a group class, sometimes a private class. And this 6 times that I teach in the day is totally different techniques. So I should pick up of my brain and explain for them. And every time that I explain is a review for me. So in this day, I review a lot of techniques.
Yes. So it's just.
So for me, and I have the program, so I know the things that I'm good, and I know the things that I should to learn more. So I pick up these things that I should to put in the A category.
Yeah.
And a little bit. Yeah. And like I said, the new techniques that I want to learn, I just put in my schedule. So I put to try maybe twice a day to don't forget and then keep improving to become a.
Right. So because Ultimate and Gracie, you're part of Gracie Jiu Jitsu, that you've got this like very organized system. And then if you want to learn something extra, you can kind of add it on. But because you have that system, you're getting that review, and it's not just random, right? Because I know some jiu-jitsu schools are kind of random, aren't they? Like you just kind of go, and it's just
This was a problem before, like maybe 5 years ago. 5 years ago, I didn't have a program, and from maybe 3 years ago, I made a program by myself. So I put the use of techniques that I think it was good and put the program. But and 1.5 years ago, I become a Gracie CTC. So I got the day techniques day program. So the day program is very better than mine because I have a lot of years of experience.
Yeah.
So they put the program in the a good sequence to learn.
Yeah.
So it's very useful. And I have my techniques that don't have in the program. Then I put the plus. So so when you have the method is it's very fun to learn because you know what you should to do. And you can take some techniques that don't have there and mix together. But you have a focus on some techniques. When you don't have before I don't have the program. So pick up one technique here, another technique there, and another technique there. But they don't put this together. And when you're sparring, you should put all together.
Yes, indeed. So, and like you said, it really connects to motivation. Which is super important because a lot of times people fail because they quit. It's probably the number one reason, right? Like I failed guitar just because I quit. Maybe if I'd kept going, I would have. But then you quit because you lose motivation because it feels like, it's too much and there's not a clear path. But when you have a clear system like that, like with the Gracie combatives, like, with your white belt program, like it helped so much for me because I'm like, okay, 36 techniques. Now I know exactly what I need to learn.
Yes.
And this is the most useful, and I'll be able to defend myself much better. So I don't have to worry about 10,000 techniques. I'll just focus on this, and then I work on it. Oh, and then and that really helped, like the motivation. Then I'm like, now I've got this. And now there's a next step in the system, and then the next step. And it really helps keep like you said, their motivation high because you're enjoying it so much more. You can feel yourself getting better.
Because like you said, the people quit because they think they cannot do the techniques or cannot do jiu-jitsu. Or maybe one day when I get more stronger or I get more physical, I start again because in my body now I cannot do. Sometimes the people think about that, but it's not about the body. It's not about it's hard to learn, but the way you do. So if you do the right way, it doesn't matter. You have a good results. But if you do the wrong way, you just get bad results because you do the wrong way. So you should find the right way to learn or right way to do something.
Oh, that's awesome. I'm gonna I already had an hour. Sorry, to go so long. Let's just say maybe a couple comments from live people watching.
Okay.
Yep, and then I'll let you go. All right, let's see. Oh, we have a bunch of Brazilians. That must be a good time in Brazil. Oh, this is from Fernanda. She's one of our really good students. She's Brazilian. She says Thiago has great pronunciation and rich vocabulary. Thanks for sharing this with us. This method is fantastic.
Thank you very much.
I'll put this into practice. So just a compliment. Very nice. Okay, let's see. Oh yeah, no, she uses the word because I've used this in podcasts, but Fernanda says it's like Kaizen.
Kaizen, yes.
Right.
Japanese, so yes.
Yeah, could you kind of explain that idea of
the Kaizen is you improve a little bit more than yesterday, so you get better every day. So this is Kaizen. So this is a kind of philosophy here in Japan. So when you do the Kaizen, you get better every day. So today is better than yesterday, and tomorrow you'll be better than today.
And just like
So,
little steps, right?
little step, yes, not like a big, but just a little bit, maybe 1% or maybe half,
Half percent, right?
half percent, just a little bit. Because if you keeping getting better, maybe 1 year, 2 years, 5 years, you improve a lot.
Yes. And it feels possible, right? Because like you say, oh, I'll just learn one new word, or I'll make my technique a little better. That don't have to become like yeah, like sometimes we want to make a big jump, right? But then it's like it's actually very hard to make a big jump. Suddenly.
Yeah. You can do, but when you fail, it's a kind of you become a frustrated.
Yeah.
So yeah, sometimes the guy get frustrated and then don't have the energy to get it back to again the same. So if you do, there's a little bit when you achieve this, you're feeling good. So it's a kind of that feeling that you have every time you get a little bit, then you're feeling good. If you get a big step, you fall in a kind of the bad feelings. Oh, I cannot do this. Yeah.
And sometimes, I know, like you're saying that those little things, they add up, because sometimes you realize, like, you maybe 6 months later, and then you look back and you're like, oh wow, I have made a big jump. But you don't realize it, like each day, each week, you don't feel anything. But then maybe 6 months, 1 year, you're like, you kind of remember, oh wow, I'm much better than I was.
Yeah, you touched on the point that then in Jiu Jitsu, the problem is the guy compared the myself with the other students.
Yes.
What the problem? You were improving, but the other students improving too.
Yes.
So you getting better. The guys doesn't stop because
they're not waiting. Like
and when you watch, I passed maybe 1 year and I cannot beat that guy.
Yeah.
But that guy is keep improving too. But if you compare you with yourself, it's a kind of totally different thing. So, for example, 1 month ago, I couldn't do this technique, but now I can do. So it's a kind of different. I think in English too, because if you compare with the other guys speak a lot and they have a lot of vocabulary and they all. I'm not equal. I'm not equal with this guy. It's not the same. But if you compare with yourself, it's a kind of I improved a lot. Now I have more 3 words, 3 new words. Yeah.
So sometimes people will record themselves speaking.
Yeah.
Video, and then listen 6 months later, record themselves again, and then you really can. Or like if you in jiu-jitsu, like if you had a video of yourself sparring a year ago, and then you could do a video of yourself now, and you can say, oh yeah, I'm much better.
And some months ago, I was like watching my computer the files, and I found some sparrings the time that I was a blue belt.
Oh wow.
And I was watching there. I was terrible blue belt.
Yeah, it's good if it's a good feeling, right? You realize, I have much better.
If I compare the time that I was a blue belt with my students very, 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 very better than me that time.
Oh, interesting.
Yeah, so
really?
I watched them. This the basic things I didn't. So so yeah, of course. Maybe if you spar when you're sparring, take a video. If the school permits you, you take and past 10 years.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh, a big jump.
Yes. Yeah, we don't realize because especially with this Kaizen thing, when we're getting better, but it's so each day is small.
Yeah.
It's kind of like sometimes like with kids. Maybe, your own kids, they're growing and you're with them every day. But then like the grandparents or some relative, they see them after a 2-year break and they're like, oh my God, they've jumped up really big.
Yeah. It's the same because you every day with your kids, so it's normal. for you because you every day with it. But if you, for example, for my mom is in Brazil, so the last time that she saw my daughter was 3 years ago.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, so it's too much time. So kind of my daughter is very tall now. So when it's solved, I plan to go to Brazil this year. So I think it will become like a, oh my gosh.
Yeah. Oh, it's just suddenly huge jump.
Yeah.
Okay, another we have a comment. Okay, this is a common problem. Dmitry Vladimirov says, what to do if I'm not improving? So like when you get stuck, right? Like sometimes called like a plateau, right? Like where you're doing whatever and you're trying, and then it just feels like nothing's happening. I don't know why. What do you do when you get those times when you just feel like nothing's happening?
Yeah, this happened a lot in Jiu Jitsu with my students, and they have two things that happen a lot. Once the guy is still improving, but they don't feel this. So like the way we said before, so you improve a little bit, and they don't feel that improving. So the feeling is like you're getting stuck in there.
Yeah.
But you're still improving. And if you switch the mind and try to be aware that the new things that you learn is a good thing. So like I told to the students to compare like yourself for 1 month ago, 2 months ago, and see if you change something.
Yeah.
And if you don't change, you should to pick up something to put effort, put energy, and focus on this thing. So for example, in English, if he feel like I'm done learning, maybe he's still learning and doesn't know. But if you don't learn nothing, just pick up something that he likes and put energy there, like put focus.
Right.
Yeah.
Just focus on something for a while. And
because I think everything about the energy that you put in. So if you want to be a good like a athlete, a jiu-jitsu fighter, you should put your energy there. But for example, for me, I have some things that I should to put energy. For example, I need to be a good athlete, but I should to be a good instructor too.
Right.
So if I put all my time to be a good fighter, I become a good fighter, but I become a bad instructor. So I put a little bit in to become a fighter, a little bit to become a good instructor. And I should to put a little bit to become like a businessman because I have the gym. So I have the stuff that doesn't matter with the part of teaching, but like money, like the marketing, like this stuff is totally different. So I should to put energy there. But if I have a lot of things to put energy, my time and my energy is like I don't have it too much.
Yeah.
So I should to choose the right ones or the things that I want to do to improve. I should to choose and put energy there.
Yeah, that's excellent idea.
So maybe from him to him, if he want to learn like English, which part he want to be like fluently. So focus there.
Focus more on like I get kind of like like back to jiu-jitsu, like the combatives. It's like when you need just make it smaller and focus in on something more specific, right? Like whatever it might be for him, but instead of trying to get I gotta get everything, I gotta
And since I become to practice jiu-jitsu, start to doing jiu-jitsu, I compare everything with jiu-jitsu.
Yeah, me too.
So for me, the experience that I have in jiu-jitsu, I put in the same, and I compare, and I know that it's the same that jiu-jitsu. For example, if I pass a hard time, I know that it's not forever. One time. For example, if I put in jiu-jitsu, I had a hard time now. The guy smashed me. Oh, it's tough. But I know this is gonna end if I tap, or if the time is out.
Right. Yeah.
Start again. Yeah. it's not forever.
Yeah.
So the one time that I become like a getting good. So and the good times I win and win and win and win it. One time I'm gonna lose.
Yes, right.
So yeah.
So you learn to kind of just stay more steady. You know, things up, down, up, down. It's
Yeah, yeah.
not
You
get
should.
too upset and not too excited.
Yeah. And just take a balance because the jiu-jitsu you have the hard times and the good times and the life is the same. You have good times and the bad times, and this doesn't end. So until you keep in living, as you keep alive, you have the hard times and the good times. You should to get the good times and feel good because you deserve it, and take the hard times to improve something.
Yeah. Excellent.
Yeah, so I do this in jiu-jitsu for example, for me now, then like the corona is 2 years like doing this, and I have a gym in the business stuff. It's hard.
Right.
Yeah. So, but I use this like the hard time to learn how to teach more, how to be a better teacher, how to be to improve the business. So I put my time in there. And yeah, the hard time was very good for me because I improve a lot. If it doesn't have this time, maybe it's totally different.
Right. Yeah, it's a great point. That like it's kind of it's like a mindset change, right? To see the problems or the difficult situation as first of all, to be comfortable, not to panic, and then to use it. And that's definitely, like you said, it's definitely jiu-jitsu. Like a lot of it is getting comfortable in difficult situations.
In the pressure. Yeah. So everything that happened in my life, I put the lens of jiu-jitsu. Okay, I didn't pass the life, but maybe I passed this similar experience in jiu-jitsu.
Yes.
And how this work in that time, and what I should do. And every time, for example, for now, I looking for some guys that is stronger than me, the high level than me, to train. Because I know if I pass like a hard time, I'm gonna improve. If I be just in the, for example, I'm a black belt. If I train just the lower belt than me, and it's not, I don't have this hard time, so I can keep improving, but it's kind of different. So when I feel pressure, I improve a lot. Of course, if you have too much pressure,
you got to manage it. Yeah.
I want to quit it.
Yeah, but it's a good point though, because a lot of, I think in our modern life, it's sometimes easy to avoid, right? To just be comfortable, always every day, too comfortable, and then we get kind of lazy and weak, and then something happens, and we can't handle it because we're our life's too comfortable. But like you said, we need to, if you go find those challenges and find those difficult times and use them. That's what exercise is, right? Any physical exercise. I mean, if you're lifting a weight, it's hard, and then you get stronger, right?
Yes. You build the muscles with a hard time.
And then mentally too, right?
Yeah, the same. Yeah, if you just have a good, like a comfortable life, it's good. But sometimes, like we said, your life is a kind of up and down like this, and maybe when you get a hard time, your mind is not prepared for this because it wasn't too comfortable. And when you get this time, we become more hard to get out from that.
Yes.
If you by yourself put in your hard times sometimes by yourself, for example, try to learn some things because in the beginning it's hard. Or maybe try to do exercise because exercises to do is hard too. So if you put in this like by yourself in this part of the hard and the control, you can control the intensity. When you get something bad that you cannot control, you're a little bit more like prepared.
Yes. Yes, for sure. And I think we'll end with I think we should promote Jiu Jitsu because I think Jiu Jitsu is like perfect for that. It really is. That's why people become addicted to Jiu Jitsu and love it so much because it's more than just self defense. It's more than just
sport,
exercise or something. A sport.
Yeah.
It's kind of like you said. It really goes in your whole life.
Yeah, it's a kind of philosophy. So you can take something there and use your life. And yes. Sometimes I ask for myself why I like it, jiu-jitsu, because I work with jiu-jitsu, so I spend my day doing teaching and practicing, and sometimes my day off and I put jiu-jitsu on.
Right.
So maybe why I like too much jiu-jitsu, and maybe this is the answer because it's not just a sport or self-defense stuff, but that kind of you can apply in your life when you're not doing jiu-jitsu. So
right.
That kind of we talk about the Kaizen because you can practice doing the Kaizen on yourself. For me, before the jiu-jitsu, I drink alcohol, I smoking, and I didn't eat it as well. But I started doing jiu-jitsu. I start to improve myself, not just the techniques, but my body too, because you use your body to do the techniques.
Yeah.
So if you have a good techniques, but your body doesn't respond, it is almost the same that you don't know the technique because your body cannot do it.
Right.
So I start to improving my life, my body. So to eat them as well, don't drink, don't smoke. And little by little, I was taking these things out, and for me, in my life without jiu-jitsu, it's totally different.
Yeah.
Because for example, now in these days that your body should be stronger for a disease or these things. Yeah, because I eat well, I sleep well, I rest well.
Yeah.
I feel stronger from the other things too, not just for do jiu-jitsu, right?
Absolutely. And and it's kind of what you brought up that it affects there's like the physical part, right? Mm-hmm. So it makes you healthier and stronger and encourages you to even to because when you're sparring and then you're getting beat, you're like, I need better cardio and I need to eat better and recover. So physically, but there's also mentally, and this is, I think for me, this is where I get really addicted. It's you're always having to solve. It's like chess or something, right?
Yeah.
Because it's always so you go and then a guy does something new to you, you've never seen it before.
Yeah.
And then I'm like, what's this? Right. And then now but I like it because then I'm like, how do I deal with this? And I gotta, ask you usually guy did this. What do I do? And then I'll do something. And then the next week he'll learn about from what I did, and he'll say, I can do that, and it's like chess, and now it's this endless game of mentally. It keeps your mind sharp because you have to think, and you got to do it so fast. It's all happening very quickly.
Yeah. Like you said, never end. So you should keep improving and use your mind to resolve the problems. So the problems in life never end too.
Right. That's right. Yeah, it's never final.
Yeah.
Even if you win and the guy taps, you just start again. And then it's now I got new problems.
Yeah. So never end. So it's the same mindset. So every time you should to resolve some problems and you solve it. When you solve it, maybe you have it. A little time, good, with no problems, but the problem happen again.
Yeah.
You should be ready, and your mental should be ready to solve these problems.
All right, so everybody do jiu-jitsu. And I'm going to put the link to the Ultimate website in the description on YouTube and on everywhere. So it's ultimatejj.com, right?
Yes.
Yes. Okay, Ultimate JJ. And people, it's okay. People can visit. If right now there's not much travel, but I know.
Yeah, but usually when you have a traveling, everybody is welcome to coming and visit and train with us. And have a good time with us.
And if you live in Osaka, then
yeah, if you live in Japan, Osaka, come to train with us if you want to do jiu-jitsu.
And specifically in Sakai, which is in the south part of Osaka.
Yes.
Right. What is it? Nakamozu Station on the Nankai line. All right. Thank you so much, Thiago. It was great.
Thank
great
you
talking
very
to
much.
you. Yes, thank you.
I
UltimateJJ.com. Ultimate Jiu-Jitsu.
Yes.
Okay, I'll see you tomorrow.
Okay, see you tomorrow.
Right. Thanks, Thiago.
Thank you. Bye.
Okay, bye-bye. Bye-bye. All right, awesome. Let me just a little bit of problem with my videos. Some of you guys watching on video, that it's, you see like there's a Skype logo here. It should have shown a close-up of him on the video, but the software is not working. But I think it was okay, good enough. So Thiago's awesome. And, we talk about jiu-jitsu. He's obviously, he's a black belt. He's a very good black belt, skillful, and he competes in tournaments. I think in April it's the All Japan tournament, I believe. So it's like the championships basically in jiu-jitsu for all of Japan. But what is amazing to me when you think about it is how good his English is. He's saying he mostly kind of learned it in like just 30 minutes a day at lunchtime when he was working. He was working in a factory full time and in training jiu-jitsu at night. So he only had about 30 minutes a day during lunch. So what did he do? He just, instead of trying to do a huge amount of English, right? Like he just focused on one book. And he would review it again and again and again and again. It's that deep learning, it's that repetition again, right? To really master it. And it's what I talk about, right? If you get one of my courses, Power English, I tell you, or VIP, whatever it is, I tell you, do the lesson on Monday. On Tuesday, don't do a new lesson. On Tuesday, do the same lesson again, repeat it again. On Wednesday, repeat it again. On Thursday, repeat it again. On Friday. So lots and lots and lots of repetition, going more deep. And you can hear him, many of you commented, but he's very fluent. He's a black belt in English as well. And he speaks, he teaches in Japanese. He lives in Japan. He's fluent in Japanese. So he did the same thing with Japanese that he did with English and with jiu-jitsu. Very impressive. So I'd say overall, kind of just to summarize the main ideas that often, especially, well, really kind of at any time, but especially maybe in the more beginner levels, it's really good to limit, right? Instead of trying to learn everything all at once, it's too much, but just focus on a small, limited amount, right, of skills, of material. In jiu-jitsu, his and the Gracie program, it's 36 techniques. If it's in English, then you might get one course, right? Get my original course and just focus on the original course for 6 months or 1 year. Just focus on that one course and learn it really, really well. People they want to go ahead too fast and always getting new, more. But then you never master anything. That's the problem. So instead you focus on a smaller amount for a longer time and you get really good at it. Right. And I think the second point, another important point he made, is to have a system, have a path, right? So first I'll do this, and then I'll do this, and then I'll do this, right? Instead of, like English, it's, there are tens of thousands of, hundreds of thousands of words, and you're never going to learn all of them. So instead of just saying, I want to be super fluent, okay, that's great, but where are you now? How are you going to get there? Step by step, right? So again, just using my own system as an example, that's why you might start with the original course, then you might do Power English, then you do VIP, then you add on the pronunciation course, right? So it's a step by step. You don't try to do all of those at the same time. You can't do all of them at the same time unless you're doing, 12 hours a day. Even if you're doing 12 hours a day, I would still say go step by step. Choose one. Get the VIP program, focus on this month's lessons, Okay, and just repeat them again and again and again and again every day. And then next month you'll get another one. Okay, but it's a slow step-by-step process. Don't try to do everything all at the same time. It becomes until you're maybe very advanced. Once you're advanced, you can go more wide and just, do lots and lots of things, and that's okay. If you're a black belt in Jiu Jitsu, you can you can understand things and learn things faster. Okay, I'll answer a couple questions myself, and then we'll go. A dollar says, who are your favorite jiu-jitsu athletes, AJ and Thiago? Oh, Thiago's gone now. That would have been a cool question to ask him. I'm trying to remember who he's talked about. I don't know. My favorite athletes are, I really like Hiron Gracie, and I like Jeff Glover. These are, so I like these guys because they're very relaxed. You watch them fight and they're like super calm and very bad positions. Like, Hiron Gracie had a very famous fight with, Andre Galvao, who's like this monster. Like he's like super muscle. He's got all these world championships. He was supposed to fight another guy, and the other guy canceled. I don't know why. He had some problem. So they asked Hiron Gracie, hey, will you fight Andre Galvao in this fight? Like, no warning, no time to train. And he's like, yeah, okay, sure, I'll do it. And he just, Andre Galvao had him in this, like, on the position. And it was just all this pressure. And Hiron Gracie looks like he's taking a nap. Like, he's just, like, so totally relaxed, just defending himself, but very relaxed and calm. And he finally got out. He escapes, and very impressive. Like, and then this guy named Jeff Glover is very similar. He kind of has this weird, crazy style, which I can't do. He's very flexible. But what I like about the guy is he'll like let, guys get on his back, guys get all these terrible positions, and he just stays super calm, super relaxed. So I like that. That's a good, I think I like that style. I like that way. I can't really fight like those guys, but I'm only a blue belt, but I like the overall sort of calm, relaxed approach. Next time we have Thiago on, we can ask him like who his favorite jiu-jitsu athletes are. I'm trying to think any other, just to summarize, we talked about Kaizen also. So again, it's that idea of having a system, having a path. Right, you got to break these big goals into smaller pieces so you don't get overwhelmed. This is kind of a key thing. This is for English, for jiu-jitsu, for anything. That's why, like, again, with jiu-jitsu, the belt system is actually quite nice. There's some problems with it, maybe, but I think that what makes it useful, really helpful, is that it gives students a focus, right? Because you realize you're not going to jump the black belt immediately. There's these steps. You've got to first learn the white belt stuff and get your blue belt. And then there are things to learn there. And then there's things to learn at purple belt. And then there's the brown belt level. So there's a step-by-step. And even at black belt, I've heard a lot of videos, black belts say that they get their black belt, they're just starting. Now there's still a huge number of things to improve. You see he's still learning new techniques and trying to get better. So it really helps to organize your learning and have that Kaizen, that step-by-step mindset. All right, guys, I'm going to let you go. So check out Ultimate Jiu-Jitsu if you want to train Jiu-Jitsu. If you visit Osaka and you want to do, if you already know Jiu-Jitsu and you want to train with Thiago, and I'll be there too, so you can train with me. You check out Ultimate Jiu-Jitsu. You can visit. If you live in Osaka, then you can actually just join. Ultimate Jiu-Jitsu is ultimatejj.com. I'll put the link below. Great talking to all of you. It was great talking to Thiago, and I'll see you next time. Bye for now.